What's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy Q Walker, aka Nephew Q, host of the world's most dangerous sports show, Beyond the Game. Here to continue on giving you my top 5 NBA players from each NBA franchise. Now, this season, the NBA came out with a top 75 list of greatest players who have ever played in the NBA. And instead of me boring y'all to death doing the show, of me naming who I think are the 75 greatest players in the NBA, what I've decided to do is break this damn thing down like a fraction and give you my top 5 players from each individual NBA franchise with one honorable mention. So let's continue on with the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball. Detroit Pistons since the 80s have had a lot of rich NBA history and have had a lot of great players come through that franchise since the 80s. Now, they've been a part of the NBA before the 80s, but I feel like when they drafted Isaiah Thomas, that's really when the fortunes of the NBA of the Detroit Pistons really started to take a turn. So anyways, coming in at my honorable mention for all-time Detroit Pistons players, this guy right here is probably arguably known as the greatest rebounder, especially for his size, of all time. That's right, I have the Worm, Dennis Rodman, making my honorable mention. Now, I know a lot of y'all who are watching are probably thinking, well, damn, if Dennis Rodman is your honorable mention, who the hell you got in your top 5? That just goes to show you how many great players have played with the Detroit Pistons that it was hard for me to decipher who should make the list. And then once I narrowed it down to 6, it was hard to decipher and figure out, okay, who do I put where? But anyways, Dennis Rodman comes in as my honorable mention of all-time greatest Detroit Pistons players. Now, during his tenure with the Detroit Pistons, he played there for 7 seasons. He averaged 8.8 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, while shooting 53% from the field. Now, Dennis Rodman was never really known as a scorer, offensive threat, or anything. He made his bones in the NBA being a rebounder on defense, grit, grind, and hustle. That's what Dennis Rodman is mostly known for in the NBA circles. He's also a list of accolades why Dennis Rodman played in the NBA. He's a Hall of Fame member. He's a 2-time All-Star. He's a 7-time rebounding champ. He's also a 5-time NBA champ, 2 of those coming with the Detroit Pistons. He's a 2-time All-NBA member. He made the defensive team, all-defensive team 8 times while winning the Defensive Player of the Year award twice. He's also a member of the NBA 75 Greatest Players of All Time list. But 2 things that really stuck out for me for Dennis Rodman. He had back-to-back consecutive seasons of averaging 18 rebounds a game. Yes, it started in the 91-92 season. He averaged 18.7 rebounds per game, and then he followed that right back up of an average of 18.3 rebounds per game. Yeah, he got traded to the San Antonio Spurs, but he didn't stop rebounding. Now, I know this has nothing to do with the Detroit Pistons, but I'm going to just continue to rattle off the list of rebounds per game that he had for the next few seasons. He had 17 points per game, 16 rebounds per game, 14 rebounds per game, 16 rebounds per game, 15 rebounds per game. I mean, this dude at 6'7" is arguably the greatest short person rebounder we have ever seen, and you can actually make the case that he is the greatest rebounder that we have ever seen, because I don't know if you guys watched in The Last Dance or how he explained how he tracks the rebound's trajectory to know where it's going once the player shoots the ball and how the player shoots the ball. Like, the way he broke down the mechanics of a rebound is just out of this world. But nonetheless, Dennis Rodman comes in as my honorable mention player for the all-time greatest Detroit Pistons players. Now, this guy who I got coming in at my list at number 5 was on the trajectory to be in the greatest of all-time list conversation. I mean, he came in at 6'8", could do everything that you could do. I mean, this guy was the LeBron James before LeBron James. I mean, I know that's a mouthful, but that's how great this guy was before injuries ultimately derailed his career a little bit. But this guy came in the NBA. He got drafted by the Detroit Pistons. 6'8", could pat the rock, could rebound, could take it off the glass and go coast to coast, could facilitate, could start the offense, could play defense. Like, there was nothing on the court this guy could not do. I am talking about none other than the original G Money, Grant Hill. Yes, Grant Hill. He played during his time with the Detroit Pistons. He played 6 seasons with them, averaging 21 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists while shooting 25% from the three-point line and 47% from the field. Now, list of accolades for Mr. Grant Hill. He's a Hall of Fame member. He's a 7-time All-Star. 5-time All-NBA member. He was a 1994-95 All-Rookie Team member while also sharing Co-Rookie of the Year honors with Jason Kidd. Now, like I mentioned before, Grant Hill was on the trajectory to be one of the greatest players who have ever played this game, but after leaving the Detroit Pistons and signing with the Orlando Magic, he ultimately had injuries that kind of derailed that trajectory, and he ended up ultimately just being a very, very good, solid player in the NBA. But for my list of greatest Detroit Pistons players of all time, he comes in at number 5. If he would have stayed with the Pistons, there's no doubt he would have probably been number 1. But anyways, moving on to number 4. History lesson alert. If the guy I'm about to tell you about, you're going to have to go back, watch some old footage, get on YouTube, looking at some NBA.com stuff and see what this guy really did for the NBA or during his time in the NBA. If you're a Detroit Pistons fan, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about and what he did on the court. If you're a Detroit Pistons fan and you don't know who this guy is, listen up. The guy that I'm about to bring to you spent 9 seasons with the Detroit Pistons. During his 9 seasons with the Detroit Pistons, he averaged 22 points per game, 6.4 assists, 4.2 rebounds while shooting 44% from the field. If you don't know who I'm talking about by now, I'm talking about Dave Bing. Yes, Dave Bing, a 6'3" point guard / shooting guard. Now, list of accolades for Mr. Dave Bing. He's a Hall of Fame member. He's a 7-time All-Star. He was a 1967-68 scoring champ. 3-time All-NBA member, a member of the 1967 All-Rookie team, while also winning Rookie of the Year honors as well. He was a 1975-76 All-Star Game MVP and a member of the 75 greatest players of all time list in the NBA as well. So, Mr. Dave Bing goes down as my number 4 greatest Detroit Pistons player of all time. Yeah, boy, like I told you in the beginning, this list is crazy, the amount of great players the Detroit Pistons have had come through there. This next guy that I'm about to bring to the stage is known for, again, like Dennis Rodman, he is known for his defense, protecting the paint, his grit, hustle, and grind. He wasn't an offensive threat at all. He was a member and one of the leading forces of the Detroit Pistons, winning the 2004 NBA championship by beating the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm talking about none other than Big Ben, Ben Wallace. That's right. Ben Wallace comes in at number 3 of my greatest Detroit Pistons players of all time. Now, Ben Wallace played 9 seasons with the Detroit Pistons before moving on ultimately to the Chicago Bulls. But during his run with the Detroit Pistons, he averaged 6.6 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and 2.3 blocks per game. And just like I mentioned earlier with Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace was never known for his offensive prowess. He was not an offensive player. He got everything off of the glass. I mean, he run from rim to rim, do a lot of pick and rolls and that type of sort of thing. But anyways, a list of accolades for Ben Wallace while playing in the NBA. He turned himself into a Hall of Fame player. He's also a 4-time All-Star, and like I mentioned, he's a 2004 NBA champ. He's a 2001-2002 block champion, while also being a 2-time rebounding champion as well. He made the All-NBA team 5 times, while also making the All-Defensive team 6 times as well, and winning the Defensive Player of the Year award 4 times, while winning all of those 4 awards while playing with the Detroit Pistons. So I have Ben Wallace coming in at number 3 of my all-time greatest Detroit Pistons players of all time. Now, the top 2 guys that I have on my list of Detroit players, you guys should already know by now. They were the original small backcourt killers, as they made everybody look foolish during the 1980s with their small backcourt that ultimately ended with them winning two NBA championships with this small backcourt. But it hasn't been duplicated or replicated ever since, because I don't think it can be done with a small backcourt winning the NBA championship. But these guys were able to do it. And also, if you don't know who I'm talking about, this guy right here was a lockdown defender. I mean, he's just known for locking down all type of shooting guards. But the guy who I'm talking about is none other than Joe D, Broadway Joe Dumars. Now, Joe Dumars spent his entire NBA career playing for the Detroit Pistons, but he also took an executive role in the front office for the Detroit Pistons as well. But during his time with them, he averaged 16 points per game, 4.5 assists, shot 38% from the three-point line, and 46% from the field. Now, a couple of lists of his accolades while playing in the NBA. Joe Dumars is a Hall of Fame player. He's a 6-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champ, like I mentioned earlier. He made the All-NBA team 3 times, was a 1985-86 member of the All-Rookie team. He made the All-Defensive team 5 times while also being named NBA Finals MVP of the 88-89 season. So Joe Dumars comes in as my number 2 greatest Detroit Pistons player of all time. And with that being said, y'all should already know who the greatest Detroit Pistons player is of all time. I mean, it is none other than Isaiah Zeke Thomas. I mean, he is the greatest small point guard that we have probably ever seen in the NBA. I mean, I can't even name the things that this guy has done on the NBA court. But anyways, I'll try to get to it as best as I can. During his time in the NBA, Isaiah Thomas, he spent his entire tenure with the Detroit Pistons. Now, during the Detroit Pistons time, he averaged 19 points per game. He averaged a little under 2 steals a game at 1.9 steals. He averaged 9.3 assists per game while shooting 29% from the three-point line and also 45% from the field. He's known as the original babyface assassin. Also, a list of accolades for Isaiah Thomas while playing in the NBA. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame member. He's a 12-time All-Star. He's a 1984-85 assist champ, 2-time NBA champ, like I mentioned earlier. He made the All-NBA team 5 times. He made the All-Rookie team. He was a 2-time All-Star Game MVP. He was the NBA Finals MVP of the 89-90 Finals. And he's a member of the 75 greatest members of all time. Listen, guess what? He has a winning record against Michael Jordan in the playoffs as well. But shh, don't tell nobody. Don't tell the Jordan stands that, because they're going to get upset at the fact that, somebody beat Michael Jordan in the playoffs more than Michael Jordan beat them. But anyways, we ain't going to talk about that right now. So anyways, Isaiah Thomas comes in as the greatest Detroit Pistons player of all time, like there was ever any doubt. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about my top 5 Detroit Pistons list. Let me know if I got somebody too high. Let me know if I got somebody too low. Let me know if I needed to put somebody on my list and take somebody off of the list. But anyways, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you can't watch the YouTube channel, make sure you download the Beyond the Game app on your Amazon Fire Stick. You can watch all of the Beyond the Game show content within the confines of your living room or wherever you got your Fire Stick hooked up. If you can't sit down and watch the shows and you like to listen to podcasts on your phones or whatever, your tablet or whatever, make sure you download the Beyond the Game podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, Google Play Store, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Make sure you subscribe to the Beyond the Game podcast. Well, we get ready on up at this thing as I name my top 5 Detroit Pistons players of all time. And as always, we want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama, y'all. And we up at this thing. Peace.